I mean, I remember I was in seventh grade, man, and we were in this English class, and I was headed, I was in the advanced classes all the way through. And at that time, I was maybe the only black person in the class, or maybe one other black person in the class. We had 40s, 30s, and 20 track. The 40s were the highest track. And I was in that. And so I remember we had writing this essay that was going to be a citywide competition of all the junior high schools all throughout Sacramento. And I picked the subject of writing what it's like to be an American. I don't know why I picked that, but anyway, I picked that. And I wrote, to this day, one of the probably best essays per capita. I mean, I was only 12 years old that I could write. I mean, I've written a lot since then, but that's probably one of the, but I talked about being a privilege, being a responsibility, 12-year-old, but it just got in my spirit. But I, start talking about accountability, and I remember that paper. And the two best writers in our class, I won't say their names, but I do remember them. I showed it to them, and they said, "Oh, wow!" I read theirs, and they read mine, and they both agreed. Said, "Oh, Cliff, you're gonna definitely best in our class, but you're gonna be able to get in it." So I got the paper back from the teacher, and the teacher gave me a B-, gave them an A+. And I'll never forget, I went up to her and I says, "Why did I get a B-? I really felt like I wrote a better paper than I deserved, more than a B-." And I remember looking at me, and she says, "No black person could write anything like this. You must have plagiarized it." As if it would, not as if, because it was the norm. She felt she was perfectly in her rights. She felt that in the way that she grew up, and the way, way she looked at the world and her experiences, is that no black person could write like this. And this wasn't long after there was integration in the schools in Sacramento. So, by the way, this is 1960.
And this took place at, how old were you? 12?
This was in Will C. Wood Junior High.
Will C. Wood Junior High School. Yep.
Yeah. So, and I remember being hurt, but I remember that I said I could not tell my parents. I just had to wear this myself, and I just had to suck this up myself and go through it. And I didn't tell my parents until I became an adult that this had happened. And this was not one incident. There were multiple incidents. But on the other hand, there's always been good white brothers and sisters to pick up the slack. Because I remember the vice principal in that 2 years later, on my 9th grade year, and him saying, "Cliff, I think we need you to run for president." I said, "No, Mr. Willett, I'm not." He says, "Yes." He said, "This school is hungry for somebody like you to run for president." I said, I can't win." He said, "I believe you can. You need to do it." And I've never forgot. Based upon what Mr. Willett said, I reluctantly ran, but I didn't write a speech. That's interesting, because I didn't write a speech because I didn't want to be accused of being plagiaristic. So when it came, everybody had long speeches in front of the school, as to why they should be president and so forth. And when it came to me, I was the last one to speak, as the Lord would have it. I got up and all I said was this, Dennis: "If you want the best, vote for Wes," and sat down. Everybody went crazy.